get into the China. I mean, it really, the way you write about this is China is going absolutely crazy, but they're also bouncing off the West. So our own government is very involved in all this research, apparently, right? Okay.
Yes.
And so then you're talking about, we know about China's theft because, and it's interesting how focused they are in stealing from us. I'm not so sure that we are so focused on stealing from them as they are stealing from us. What is that dynamic? Is it because they are so into a hive mind that they just don't have the creativity to come up as easily with a different approach?
It's because of communism. Communism makes everyone's thoughts uniform. It doesn't give them freedom, and it makes the people of China almost vile. I've lived there a year. I have 1,500 friends, Chinese numbers in here who I've experienced with 20 years, and they always tell me, we're really good at lying, we're professional liars, and I know they're lying. I mean, the facial recognition will look at you and they'll think they're telling you the truth, and they'll do things that 10 years down the line can affect things. And that comes not from communism. It actually comes from their history of dynasties, Sun Tzu art of war, Confucianism, and introvertedness. But the Chinese communist regime ruined the family ethics, ruined Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity, Confucianism, all these different moral ethic principles that were in their society that gave them, hey, don't cheat people, be honest. It was gone out the window. So with communism and 1.5 billion people that not enough goods or food and they're fighting for jobs and power, well, they become corrupt. So they were really good at coming to the US and say, how are you doing? And making friends, stealing everything through IP theft. Collaboration, studying under professors, making friends with professors who got them to give information in China or other countries that got into China, and also through tech mergers, but also forced tech transfer. Forced tech transfer is this: you go to China, hey, I want to do business here, it's great. Just sign here, here's $10 million. Oh yeah, I'm happy. But you got to give us your goods. What do you mean by that? Well, we want to know how you built the software and this hardware and the patent knowledge is still yours. You own it, but we need to have it for our safety because it's a national security. Some BS like that. But they'll have you sign it so that they know how to duplicate it. While they're using your company, you don't know, but the Chinese government and other corporations have just built 20 companies around that company with the same thing in China. So then you have millions of AI researchers and biotech companies working and building the same stuff. And these guys are mixing people with animals and chimeras and monkeys, stem cell, all kinds of things. They don't have any moral ethics. And they're trying to build clones, all kinds of stuff, which we had in Europe, and there's secret places in South America, and even, I wouldn't say America anymore, but they're working on it. There's robots and machinery, and of course, the military. I've never looked in our military because I'm a U.S. citizen, and I don't want to look into what they have, but I already know what they have because I know where it comes from, and our country is protected over any other country. We have the most powerful military on the planet. There are things that we have that are not known, but there are certain things that we have that was stolen by China that makes China a little bit very powerful. So China needs to be exposed and taken out non-materially very, very soon before they reach artificial general or super intelligence. When they do that, they can take out everybody. And if our country reaches artificial super intelligence, ourselves will be taken out, because it'll be beyond the comprehension of any human being on the planet, and nobody will control it. The Pentagon will not be able to control it. So the best thing to do at the moment is to expose the Chinese communist regime and get the whole world to point at them and say, hey, you guys are pretty sinister, you cause us disease, and you've been killing people with organs. And the other things that we want to talk about later, that's going to be solved in a different way. There's two planes of this.
All right. So ultimately, we look like we're going to have to deal with war with China in the future, and that's been prophesied, and we've got whistleblowers who've talked about that as well. Now I'm going to continue through your book really quickly, and just if there's anything that you want to stop and talk about, just tell me, which is really annoying. So I'm just showing people these pages of what is in essence the inside of your book, the table of contents. All right, so you've got China and Iran. Now, one of the things is the war with Iran. So they were trying to have a war with Iran for a long time. It never really got off the ground all that well. But the bottom line is they were really trying to get to China through Iran. So I don't know if the tactic has changed and they decided to go directly at China, because this virus is also focusing all the people's attention on China, right? So it provides a service in that sense.
Positive.
Okay, and so that's what we're dealing with here. And so I just want to say that's in your book. Organ trafficking. For some reason, that's a really strange area to have such a focus on. And I just wonder, is there any detail about organ trafficking? I know you talk about clones as well. What is it about organs that the Chinese are so focused on collecting?
There's multiple levels of it. Currently for the future, needed for other things, but they're also trying to build organs as well. But, a lot of the Chinese are unhealthy, and they wouldn't donate. Like in the late 90s and early 2000s, 3,000 donations a year in a population of over 1 billion people. They were superstitious, so they wouldn't want to donate. So they first they went in 1987, they passed a law, and they said if you're a political prisoner, it's a property of the state, you can kill them for the organs. So they went after Uyghurs because Uyghurs were not Chinese, or a mix. They're a Turkic tribe, which is a mix of Persian, Arab, Chinese, and maybe a little bit of something else. So then they went after Tibetans, because Tibetans weren't racially Chinese, and they were killing them for the organs. Then they went after Christians, which were generally Chinese, and then in 1999 the Falun Dafa was persecuted because that grew to 100 million people, and they approached the founder, Mr. Li Hongzhi, and said, "Hey, you have this practice. It's increasing people's immunity. They're becoming healthier. 3 principles: Jen Shanren, truth, compassion, forbearance. Why don't you create a membership in the Communist Party and charge money?" And then Mr. Li Hongzhi says, "Well, no. This is for the people. I don't watch people. I don't follow them. I don't know a lot of members. I can't charge money." They got scared. They banned it, slandered the practice, put people in camps. They wouldn't say who the parents were, but then they realized these people have really, really good organs, because they don't smoke, drink, do drugs, and they're doing qigong and on these exercises that were similar to maybe like what you would say the Kundalini or maybe Christ consciousness, but they were really healthy because it's also like yoga. So 2006, David Kilgore and David Manis, former Canadian Secretary of State and Nobel nominee, High Down Council David Manis, they concluded that 41,000 transplants were unaccounted for, and you had 3,000 donations. I mean, that's only what they count. 2016, they do an update, and they're like, well, no, there's 60 to 100,000 transplants that's missing every year, per year, since 2001, 15 years straight. That's like 1.5 million transplants. The whole world was flying in, and China had on their websites, hey, fly in, 40-hour wait time, give you a heart, liver, kidney, $150,000 cash. People were flying in from America, from Canada, from Europe, Israel, Africa, India, the whole entire world, even Japan. And they're getting organs on standby, and when it didn't work, they had a backup, second and third organ. How do you do that unless you have people locked up in camps or in the hospital somewhere? And then the military is helping you, the police is helping you, they're quarantining you, and they're killing you for the organs. So even corneas, they would have one person, when they kill, they had a bunch of people on standby, because each part of the body will go to a different person. They can make over $1 million on one person alone, even more than that. So the White House passed a resolution, the Congress in 2016 or 17, Resolution 343, condemning the persecution of the Falun Dafa and all other minority groups and Christians, and organ harvesting, live organ harvesting. So their work and other people's work led into this. And I housed them twice throughout my doctoral and my Homeland Security Master's as well. And local news networks, when they reported these conferences, they would pull them next day because China will call. So China, basically through getting surveillance technology from Google and these big tech companies, were able to hunt people and locate them. Then they use biotech companies and big pharma and even our doctors to get training and the needed goods to be able to farm these people and kill them for their organs. That's step 2. Step 3 was the World Bank gave them money, our businesses gave them money, we bought made in China goods. 3. So you have people contributing from buying made in China goods to people being slaughtered for their organs. Massive.
Incredible.
You have companies.
Incredible.
You have companies doing business, and a lot of companies knew this was going on. President Obama knew this was going on. He was giving hand-delivered papers. He was given briefs by the CIA. He was given briefs when he came into the White House. And George Bush knew about this. I didn't put him a lawsuit because, he got incoming from Iraq and he couldn't do it. He would have done something about it, but he got income from Iraq. But Obama, he let us do business with China. So, and President Trump was trying to cut that. He was trying to expose these guys for what they are. And first of all, he had to hold the money. That's why I said the trade war was never about trade war in my books. He's smart. If he goes, hey, you guys are already harvesting people, you have millions in camps as well, or tens of millions, he's getting all this income from the left. China will do something that crashed our economy and we'll be sitting in our homes. And then he'll not only lose the presidency, but then the whole country will collapse and everybody would be ruled by China because the people like Obama and Clinton and Biden, they're dumb. I'm sorry, they're really, really dumb. And opposed to really stupid people. So they don't see these things. And they endanger everybody, including Schiff, the skinny neck guy. I'm being rude on your show, but I've never been this rude ever before, and I think I should, because these are the type of people that kind of ruin the world. So President Trump has been trying to do a really good job, and he's done a good job. But look what happened to him. And even now, if he got bogged down, China did this to us. But it's also we did it. It's our doing business. So it's not just the left. A lot of conservatives as well have done business with China, knowingly this stuff was going on.
Okay,
That's why I
wait,
put,
okay.